Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. A few weeks ago I did a review on a digital readout at short scale with a remote readout from Banggood, and I did say I was going to mount it on my Harrison Lathe tailstock. Well, I'm getting the job done, so both of tonight's nightcaps are a little bit longer than normal, but they're showing mounting that onto my Harrison Lathe. I keep mentioning about subscribers and 100,000. Well, it is near now. I mean, it really is near. I'll have a quick look on my phone and see what it's up to. Right, we've got 99,969. So if you subscribe now, it's possible I can get to 100,000. This is the lathe tailstock off my Harrison 140 lathe. For quite some time now, in fact, as long as I had the lathe, I've been wanting to put a readout on there, a DRO on there. Now I've just done a review on this Banggood item, and I'm going to use this on the tailstock of the lathe. I'm going to mount that onto there somehow and have it clamped onto there. It's obviously too long, it just happens to be the length at the centres. That tailstock barrel's all the way out there, so basically I don't need that anywhere near the length. So I'm just going to cut it through. I've cut them before, they still work. Like I say, you can buy shorter ones and you can buy longer ones. This just happens to be the one that was sent me. I think it's classed as a 350mm. So the first thing is to sort of measure how much you're going to need and then actually cut it, and then we can go from there. Right, so that's what we mounted on there. That's all the way out, so we won't get any more than that. So basically if I leave a little bit, sort of breathing room a little bit extra, if I cut it there, and that's right in, that means there's still plenty of clearance on the hand wheel. More than enough travel that way. So we'll go about cutting that. I think the junior hacksaw will be the weapon of choice really. It feels like it's cutting steel now, possibly a stainless steel, on a steel strip on the back, the magnetic part. I'm sure it is. It's going to be magnetic. It's going to be steel because it's a magnetic strip. So it's cut there, and that's a magnetic strip. On the side of there, I'm going to take this off the part we've cut off because I don't want the reed head to slide right off the end, because I don't think it's very nice to get back on. Take the little rags off. And that simply goes onto there and just stops it from sliding all the way off. And we're using it over, installing it. Right. Right, so cutting that's made no difference. Still works perfectly alright. Right, so the scale is going to go, that's going to be mounted onto there. Then there'll be a bracket off the spindle or off this quill part, or off the, what is this, the quill, the spindle, barrel. There'll be a bracket off this barrel fastened onto there. Now I have got a nice flat face there, so like a piece of angle across there and across there, and there is some fixing holes in there. They supply some little screws and supply some little brackets, but nothing's really suitable for what I want. It's going to be something like that, and then that's going to fasten onto there like that. I think a piece of aluminium angle, and then I can drill and tap into there. That's a nice flat square face, that's going to be ideal. I think probably a piece of this will do the job quite splendidly. I'll cut a piece of length first, then we can play around with it and just sort of design it as we go. I think that's the way I'll do it. We might as well cut full length, it won't do any harm. We'll put that up across there, and some of that's going to have to come out. I think mounted with little 3mm bolts through there. Cut it off first, and then I think we'll sort of clean the milling machine to square the edges up and things, and basically go from there. I don't really like working with aluminium. It's not like, I don't trust it as proper metal. My favourite thing with aluminium, I used to casting it, now it's welding it. I really do like welding. Nice clean aluminium. A little bit about hacksaws. That's actually a snap-on hacksaw that was bought for me a lot of years ago. I've had it a long time, and I use decent blades, standard blades, normally 24 TPI blades. But having a nice controllable hacksaw is really half the battle, to be able to cut nice and square and true. I'm just going to use the milling machine to square these edges up. We could just use a file, but as a milling machine standing doing nothing, so I might as well use it. We'll put the last little bit. Well, my hacksaw wasn't too bad after all. A little bit of DRO work with a file. Right, this is going to get mounted onto there with a couple of 6mm countersunk screws. It wants a little bit gap in there. Although it won't if I can countersink the screws into there. If I've got some 3mm countersunk bolts, which I think I have, I'll be able to have that touch in there, which is better again. It's a lot more rigid. I'll see what bolts I've got. I've got some nice little button head ones which I'll be able to sink into that plate, no problem at all. So we'll leave a slight gap. About there's where I want them. I'll measure that and put two equally distant screw holes in there, then we can spot them through, and I'll make some sort of jig to drill this to make sure we can get it nice and square. And all I'll do is I'll come in 10 from each end. I know it's an expensive scraper, but those are the screws I'm going to use. I haven't got any countersunk ones, but the nice dome head ones here look alright. So I can basically drill those two and then transfer mark them onto the job proper. Just going to drill these freehand. Not everything's got to be machined. The original cordless drill. I get a lump in my throat every time I pick it up, because it was my dad's. Bastard. Right. So I need a little space up behind the egg just to give enough room to be able to get the bolt heads in. This shooting cherry clamp should hold it in position for us quite nicely, I hope. This is why they're cheap, because they're crap. Right, if we put the flat face across there, John, like that, that's better. And then use that part on there, we should be able to kinda got it. Right, so it's touching there, and there's enough room behind there for the heads of the little screws I'm going to use. Drill through there now accurately, and obviously drill and tap the 6mm holes. Transfer punch first to pick them up, or should I pick them up using that? Like I say, it's got to be as accurate as it needs to be. So we want 5mm into there, and then run the top through. We need to get something to hold to make sure the drill goes in nice and straight. I could mount it on a milling machine, but I'm just going to make a little jig and just do it freehand, just to show you can do things freehand and still retain good accuracy. So we've got two really good marks there. Scrape the paint off and then see about making something to go onto there to drill it nice and straight. It's a really nice scraper there, made from an old file with a carbide tip brazed on. I bet that's seen a lot of work. Often pick this sort of thing up with car boot sales. I can't help myself, I've just got to buy them. You can't let something like that just be scrapped. I've got a little drilling jig here. My friend Bob made it and gave us it bit of hardened steel. It's got all the popular holes in from 2 to 10. The 5mm drill's a good fit in there, and I can centre it in there no problem. I need some method of holding that onto there, and this is looking sorely tempting to put some sort of clamp on there and just withdraw the quill just to hold that in place so I can pick that drill up, drill that hole, and that's obviously going to keep it nice and square and true. Then I can turn it on to the 6 and I can use that to start the 6mm tap as well. Right. The holes drilled nicely. I can use the same jig to tap them with. Nice new machine tap, and that will hold the tap nice and square till I get it started. I've had this top wrench a long time and all. I bought it to snap on a blow point one. I bought it when I was an apprentice, probably 15 or 16. So I've had it for 50 years and it's still doing the job. No problem at all. Cast iron's meant to tap dry, but I'm going to put some cut and paste of some description in there. Probably anchor lube. Clumsy, messy bastard yard jud. Don't need quite as much as that in there. Right, the tap's away now and it's got to be straight because it's followed the tapping jig. What a difference that made. Incredible. That is good gear, that anchor lube. I use it all the time. I do like it. It is a really good tap as well. If I'm doing thread repairs on cylinder blocks, I'll often make a little jig to clamp down just to make sure you get things nice and true. You're freehanding, but it's what I would call guided freehand. Right, I found some little bolts that will do the job quite nicely. That goes into there. See how accurate we've been. Pretty accurate. There's a little bit of play on them bolt holes, but not very much. Right, so that's the first part kind of done. See how things are going to work out. Scale gets mounted on there like that, and the adapter onto here, and then that's basically going to be it. I've got to pick the holes up. I'll have to find the centre line, pick the holes up in the centre of there, and then go from there. So measure the centre of that, mark out those holes. I'm not quite sure I'm going to do that. Might make some little transfer pins for them, not sure. But it's certainly well on its way to being a working DRO. I might change this, I don't know, I might put something better than that on, I don't know. It's all I want, deburring and filing to make it look a bit better, but basically it doesn't affect the lathe in any way. People say you shouldn't drill holes in your lathes, but unfortunately in the real world that's exactly what happens. I now need to pick up these hole centres and drill them into that bit of plate there. I'm going to use those two, that one there and that one there, which I'll leave a little bit of wiggle room to make sure it's sitting nice and square. So I've got to mark those two holes onto that. You could measure it as an easier way. Basically, if I cut this to be a good fit on there, we'll mark it first. Now I did have a pair of scissors in here. Terrified to go and get the wife's scissors again because she's actually, there we go. She has a major problem with me using her dressmaking scissors. Since she is cutting brass shim up with them, brass shim stock, she didn't like it at all. Right, measure the length now, I'll mark the length now. Actually it's pretty good for length. So if we simply pull that onto there, we're going to pick up those 2 holes. There's one, and the other one should be about there. Right, so we've got 2 holes marked out. Right, that's not quite going to work. Oh, it will work, yeah, that'll be fine. So if I carefully stick this onto here, those are the 2 holes that we actually need to do the job. Okay, so we've got those 2 picked up. The bolts are 3mm and I'm going to drill the holes 3.5, so we've got a little bit of wiggle room. Just drill these freehand. If you can hear a ticking noise or a noise in the background that sounds like a small jet engine, it's just my little diesel heater running. It's absolutely freezing in here. You can see that little bit of noise on the video. I'm not working in the cold, I'm working cold all day, and I'm certainly not going to do it at home. Right, I've made a little mistake, or I've dropped a bollock as some people will call it. I've drilled the holes that way and they should have been drilled that way. It's not the end of the world. We'll just have to simply re-drill them, so I'll remark them and I'll re-drill them and I'll come back. Right, so we'll fast forward a little bit. I've re-drilled the holes in the correct place this time. Right, so that's that part mounted. What I need to do now is connect the barrel to that, which is not going to be the most difficult thing in the world to do. We'll just make a collar to go on here and it'll have a bolt through there. But that's working quite splendidly. You can see that read out there hopefully. I've got a piece of aluminium plate here. We'll be able to utilise. I need to measure it and bore a hole in there to fit that. It'll either be a grub screw or a split clamp, I'm not sure which. And then it just fastens onto there, and that's going to be all it needs. Because this doesn't come all the way in, it only goes into there. That's when it breaks the taper off. So that's not going to affect anything at all. It'll make no difference whatsoever to the operation of the tailstock. We'll cut it to length, get it in the lathe and bore a hole in the centre of it, or bore a hole where it needs to be bored, and go from there. I'll chop it off down through there. It's a bit, I'll be used for something else, I'm not quite sure what, but we'll chop it off down there and then go from there. Right, I've got it cut off sort of where I need it. And I'm going to adjust that length to be a good fit on there, so I need the hole to be slightly that side of centre, that centre there. So do the hole, I'm marking white, we'll do the hole in the middle of there, then I can bore it to fit that. There's plenty of material. Yep, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to machine the hole in the 4-jaw chuck, obviously. Now what I've done is I've put a piece of tool steel in the back of there just to space it out from the chuck. I'm going to put that piece in the top. This is where you need another pair of hands, or a rubber band sometimes helps, or a magnet. And before you bring your tailstock in and put a bit of weight on it, that's going to hold it roughly where it needs to go. And what I did do, I lined those 2 jaws up by eye to get it as near as I could, and it's actually not that bad. So if we run these 2 jaws in now, and then we can go about setting it up. Obviously before I machine it, I'll be going to pull them spacers out. We don't want them ejecting themselves. Right, so basically we've got it clamped in there. It's hard up against those spacers, so I know it's going to be running parallel with the chuck. Take that out and put a centre into the little centre punch mark I've got. And you can see that it's wiggling around. It's not far away, it's actually pretty good. I'll put a clock gauge on and we'll finally dial that in. Taking video of a clock's always difficult because you've got the glass on the front that reflects light. So we'll find the highest point, which is that one there, and we'll nip that jaw up. Next highest point again, which is that one. Highest point again, that one. Go to 5,000 now, highest jaw again is that one. Right, we'll give them all a little nip now to make sure I've got them all under tension. One of the wedges fell out there, not to worry about it. But we'll take the other one out as well. You dear bastard. Right, within a couple of thou, which is certainly near enough for this particular job. Made it worse. I think that'll do. Yeah, so within a thou and a half. Certainly near enough. Right. Happy at that. Right, a little bit of WD-40 as a lubricant. This is one of the cheap and Sherry Banggood tip tools I did the review on the other week. I've given them all away except the boring tool. The boring tool is absolutely fantastic. I use it all the time. It's even got an aluminium. A decent cut this time. then time to do a little bit of measuring. I think I'll just put a spring pass through there to clean that up a little bit. Still a tiny bit to come out of it. Right, I've zeroed the vernier on the barrel of the tailstock. We need -5, so 1 5mm out of there is a starting point. Another 1mm cut. And I'm going to go a little bit faster. No, it's too far out of balance. You need to put a weight across here to run it any faster than that. I'm not in a great hurry anyway. Nice finish in there now. Right, that's basically, that will be a press fit. It should be spot on. I'm going to say that I have it held on with just a little grub screw, or to split it and put a clamp bolt through it, I'm not sure. It is doing a lovely job, that cheap Banggood tool, really good. What I wanted, spot on. Right, so that's going to go onto there, and that'll be trimmed down so it fits nicely onto there. And it's either going to get a clamp bolt through there, or through there even. But some of this one's taken off. All these sharp corners want taken off. You don't want sharp corners where you can catch your hands. But that's going to work quite splendidly. Obviously this one's machining up, it's rough cut. That's a good face, that one there, but that one's not so good. So we've got two faces, that face there and that face there we can machine off. See where the chuck jaws have grabbed in. Had this been a finished piece, finished the size, I've got some copper packers I put in there to stop damaging that. That's not good, but like I say, it's going to be machined anyway. That's the stuff there, it's copper buzz bar, and you would put that on the chuck jaw and that would stop all that damage. That's the culprit for all the noise, my little diesel heater. I've had that one quite a long time. I've actually got another one coming from Banggood to go in the shed where I do the welding, because it gets cooled in there as well. Really is a nice heat. I've had no problems at all with it, and very, very economical.